spot. What the question state is, the board of directors of sister company are concerned that they are not currently applying the best practices in terms of corporate governance and are seeking to make improvements. The company currently has 3 non-executive directors, which is the minimum requirement of having NEDs, who are paid a fees which changes annually depending on the company's performance. Okay. So the first major hindrance here is they are paid fees which changes annually depending on company's performance. You cannot pay NEDs fees with respect which is correlation to your company's performance. NEDs are paid fees with respect to the time they invest for the company. The NEDs all sit on the audit nominations, remunerations, audit committees and remuneration committees. There is currently no reference to the work of these committees in the annual report. So it is very necessary to have all the roles and responsibilities of audit committee, nomination committee and remuneration committee within the annual report. At present, sister company does not have an internal audit function as well. Okay, but the directors are establishing a team which will be responsible for a range of internal audit assignments. Okay, makes sense. The following is the current proposed structures for the internal audit department. We'll have a finance director. Beneath finance director, we'll have an head of internal audit. Under it, there would be an internal audit managers and audit assistants, and there would be 2 audit assistants working under internal audit manager. Okay, let's read ahead. The only role is to be filled is the head of internal audit. The only role still to be filled is the head of the internal audit. Okay, we need to hire someone for the internal audit head. There are 2 potential candidates. Okay, we have 2 potential candidates as well. Paul Belling, a consultant who helped design and implement the company's current control system, and Maria Marquez, who is currently an audit manager at Rossi & Wells, an audit firm who has never been used by sister company. So consider these 2 things. Let's consider if Paul Belling comes in, who himself as an head of internal audit, who himself has designed the controls of the companies and implemented the same. So in this scenario, Paul Belling would be in a situation where he will have a threat of self-review. He will be reviewing his own work which he has previously done in terms of designing and implementing the controls for the company. So he would not remain independent. On the other hand, we have Maria Marquez, who is currently an audit manager at Rossi & Bell, an audit firm which has never been used by sister company. So Maria Marquez would be in a position to lead the company as a head of internal audit. So I think she would remain independent since she has no prior connection with the company. So let's see what the question asks us. Out of the 3 members of the proposed internal audit department, 2 of them have moved from other departments in sister company. 2 of them have moved from other departments in sister company. Okay, and one of the audit assistants has audit experience. Out of these 2, we have one of them who is an experienced person. Let's go ahead. Let's see what the question asks us. Let's start with the first question. Okay, let's start with the first question. Which of the following should be included in the annual report regarding the work of audit committee? Okay, we know what audit committee does. I believe you know that the first thing what audit committee does is they identify, let's read this out. It asks what should be included in the annual report regarding the work of audit committee. Responsibilities for preparing the annual report and financial statement. Management का काम है ये. This is not the work of audit committee. Significant issues considered relating to the financial statements. Exactly. The first major thing which an which is the major work of audit committee, is that they identify significant issues considered relating to the financial statements. Not only that, they also identify whether the company requires an internal audit department or not. If they do not require an internal audit department, they will have to answer why is this the case, why the company doesn't need the internal audit functions. So they need to answer that as well. These are also their functions. A description of the principal risk faced by the company faces. These are generally the risk management committee, or you can say the board. It is the duty of the board that they will describe the principal risk that the company faces. The process used to make appointments to the board. This is the work of nomination committee. Let's go to the, so our correct answer is part 2. Which of the following option correctly describe the deficiencies relating to NED's remuneration and make a valid recommendation for improvements? Okay, deficiency क्या है? Comprises NED independence, ठीक है, उनका independence तो होना ही चाहिए. Recommendations, NED should be remunerated on the same basis as the executive team. No. Comprise the motivations of NEDs? Motivations of NEDs? No. Should be tied to profit targets. A big no. Comprises NED independence? NED remuneration should be a set amount based on the time committed. Exactly. NED should be paid with respect to the time that they commit for the company. So that is the correct answer. Linked to individual performance? No. Let's come to question number 3. The board is in the final stages of establishing the internal audit department. Okay. Select one option from each column which provides appropriate recommendations to improve the effectiveness and independence of the internal audit department. Okay, let's read this. The internal audit department, we all know that they will report to audit committee. And yes, while we read the question, we decided who should be a suitable candidate for this position, and for the head of internal audit, Maria Marquez, who would remain independent, who would be independent for this position, should be selected as a head of internal audit. Remaining staff members, okay, so we identified in the questions that only one audit assistant was experienced. So let's see, appoint more senior staff with audit experience. Exactly, we should appoint more senior staff with audit experience. No changes needed. No, there are a lack of experienced member within the team. All staff should be new to the company. No, we need some experienced staff. It is not necessary that there has to be new staff. There could be existing staff who can work as well, and there could be new staff, but that staff needs to be experienced in this audit field. The board has started to compile a list of tasks for internal audit department to carry out once it is up and running. ठीक है? It has agreed that the first assignment to be completed will be for internal audit to review sister company's process over asset expenditure to verify if the right items are purchased at an appropriate time and a competitive price. Well, while reading this, I don't know if you have read this before, but value for money is the thing that comes to my head. The 3E, yes. What type of internal audit assignment does this represent? A value for money audit. This is a value for money audit to identify whether the internal audit department has worked in the best interest of the company. That is, the right items are purchased at an appropriate time and at a competitive price. Exactly. Okay, let's come to the last question of this objective test. When deciding on the role of internal audit department in undertaking operational audits, which two of the following should the team not be involved in? So while recalling this, I hope you know what are the functions of internal audit department. What does they do and what does they don't? So let's do's and don'ts. You should remember this. In do's, Generally, internal audit department functions as if they are an internal auditor, and think of an external auditor. In this scenario, what are their roles and responsibilities? Similarly, let's connect it with the internal auditor. What they will do, they will observe, since they are employed by the company itself, what they will do, they will observe the company's control, how their controls are. They will test those controls, whether those controls are working accurately or not. They will re-perform what? They will re-perform those procedures which the management are doing with respect to a control that has already been placed. We will see whether those controls are working properly or not by re-performing as if the managements are re-performing again. We will then evaluate the results of it. हम उसके results को evaluate करेंगे. Evaluate करने के बाद identify करेंगे कि whether there are any loopholes or not. And then we will have some recommendations for the management, and we will provide them ways for improvements in those internal controls. Now, these are the main functions which an internal audit department does. Now let's come to the don'ts. What they will not do. So generally what they will not do is something that is out of the box of these do's. So they will not design controls, they will not implement controls. These are the functions which management will do. They will not perform operational tasks like providing some kind of journal entries which the accountant does. Perform operational tasks. And last but not the least, they will also not authorize transactions. They will not authorize the transaction as well. Yeah. So let's read the questions and their options. When deciding on the role of the internal audit department in undertaking operational audits, which two of the following should the team not be involved in? Okay. Observe procedures carried out by the SISTAR. They will do the same. Internal audit will do. Observe the procedure, how SISTAR's company staff takes it. Re-perform procedure also. Yes, we have discussed this. Design and implement internal control procedures to address deficiencies. No, these are the functions of management. Management will always design and implement the internal controls. Report findings. Yes, they will report findings directly to the boards, whether it would be audit committee, in case of any absence of audit committee, to the other board committee that is present. Authorize transactions and perform reconciliations. They will also not authorize any transactions or perform reconciliations. These are part which management does. I hope you got this clear idea about all these 5 questions and what are the functions of internal audit departments. I hope this helps to you. We'll move back to the next video for question 6 to 10. Thank you.